Okay, hello everyone. My name is Fumi. It's both a pleasure and a privilege for me to sit on Legal Aerobics Desk this afternoon to address this issue of how free and how compulsory is primary and junior secondary education in Nigeria. One may be asking, why this topic? Have you taken a trip recently around our states, our highways, marketplaces, our streets? They are littered with school children roaming the streets, selling, hawking, doing one thing or the other during school hours. And the statistic is staggering. When we say there are millions, you may be wondering, how do we know? If you take a look at UNICEF statistics, we are told that there are over 10 million Nigerian school-age children, primary school-age children, who are not attending school. More than 8 million are not attending junior secondary school. And this is regarded kind of about, this is apart from the countless number of who drop out of schools. And also we keep wondering, do we have a law in this country that regulates both primary and junior secondary education? We take a look at our constitution and other laws that have been made by both the national and state assemblies. And so that is the basis of our discussion this afternoon. So once again, I welcome you to join us in this discussion. So we'll be looking at what the law says. First of all, we want to look at the constitutional provision, which is the basis of all the laws that we have in Nigeria. If you take a look at the Constitution makes it a state policy to provide quality education for all of Nigerian students, children that reside in Nigeria. In fact, if you look at Section 18, verse 1, you look at the second schedule to the Constitution, item 30 of Part 2, we see the mandate and Section 4 given to both the National and State Assembly to make laws for the good government of Nigeria and also to regulate education, both primary and vocational education. Based on this constitutional mandate, both the state, National Assembly and state assemblies have made several laws to regulate primary and secondary education. One of such laws is the Child Rights Act of 2003. We also have the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education. Both of these laws state that primary education is not just compulsory, it is mandatory for every children that lives in Nigeria. Not just primary education, up to junior secondary schools. And if that is the case, the question is, why do we have so many of our students off the school during school hours? Is there something wrong with the law? What is responsible for this national, I don't know what to call it, whether it is a national tragedy? It is so tragic because personally I'm a product of government school. I attended free education right from primary school, even up to university level. If there were no primary school education that are free, some of us would not be able to attend school. And so when we see students who ordinarily should be in school roaming the street, it is really heartbreaking. Because one cannot overemphasize the importance of education, especially primary education, to both individual development and nation building. It equips students and children with cognitive skills that help them to become somebody in the future and also help them to contribute their quota to the society in which they live in. So when this is lacking, we cannot but say that Nigerians, we are breeding future problems for our country. And so we want to look at these laws. What does the law say? I've mentioned three of these laws, and now we want to look at the Child Rights Act, for example. Section 15 of Child Rights actually provides that it is both a right, it is the right of every Nigerian children to receive quality education. It is not just a right, it is compulsory. And we have people that are given the responsibility to ensure that this right is actually, this mandate is implemented. We have those whom the law get to refer to as educational stakeholders. And we have parents. Parents are mandated to ensure that their children and wards are given quality education. The government is mandated to make these provisions, to make classrooms available, to make quality education available. Educational stakeholders are enjoined to ensure that these mandates are carried out. The law did not stop at that. We even have courts. Magistrate courts are mandated to ensure that this aspect of the law is enforced. Then what is the problem? Why is it there is so much laxity in both the implementation and enforcement of this law? That is the question that each and every one of us should answer. It has been said many times that the problem we have in Nigeria is not that there are no laws, but the major problem we have is both the enforcement and implementations of the law, even though the laws are inadequate. But the problem we have is enforcing and implementing even those that are available. For example, nobody, I don't think it has happened before that any parent has been arrested or prosecuted for not allowing their children to go to school when they are supposed to be in school. Police will see children, school-age children during the daytime and look the other way. Educational institution, local government officials, everybody are not concerned. And yet, the law says it is mandatory for this student to be in school. And so, we have been saying it, legal rubric has been drumming it. Obedience to the law does not just protect your life, it gives you a better quality of life. Obedience to the law makes it possible for people to live a life that will give them the leverage they have to become an important person in the society. And so I would want to enjoin each and every one of us to take a closer look at these laws and to see where we can come in to assist to ensure that we give our children quality education that we have benefited from. Almost everybody in government today have benefited in one way or the other from free education. If the policymakers then or government agencies did not ensure or did not enforce the law, most of us would not be able to have taken advantage of the provisions of the law. But because they did their job, we are who we are today. And so each and every one of us also have the same mandate to ensure that those who have the responsibility of implementing the law do their job. Those who have the mandate of taking care of their children and their wards are enforced to do so. The magistrates who have the responsibility of bringing those who disobey the law to book also have their own responsibility to carry out their duty. When we do what we are supposed to do, then the society will be a better and a safe place for everybody. Look at these children that are hawking or roaming the street. What future lies? What is their future? What will it look like? Sometimes they are easy prey for predators and criminal-minded elements in our society. These are the same children that they use to steal in the dark hours of the night. So, are you a parent? Are you carrying out your duty as a parent to ensure that you educate your kids? Are you a policymaker? Are you an education stakeholder? Are you doing what the law enjoins you to do to see that Nigerian children receive the mandatory education that has been given to them? Even nowadays, of course, some will say, oh yes, these children can go and learn vocational work. Yes, it is true. The laws make that provision. But the law says the foundational education is compulsory before you send your children to go and learn a vocation. Primary education, junior secondary school education. Then from SS1, you can send your child to school if you do not have the money to train that child. But what do we have today? So please, this is a call, this is a cry out to every one of us who are out there, parents, guardians, children alike, to play our own role and do what the law requires us to do so that Nigerian children can be given the required education that they deserve. It is so sad that out of the global number of out of school children, 15% of them resides in Nigeria. Statistics says that out of every three children you see, one is out of school. Every three Nigerian child you see on this, one is out of school. It is that bad. And yet, we want to become a great nation. How do we get there? So this afternoon, we invite everybody to contribute to this discussion. If you are watching us, or even if you are not watching us now, you can visit any of our social media angle and let us hear your own voice. What is your suggestion? What are the punishments for not obeying this law of ensuring that children are given primary and junior secondary school education? The law recommends both reprimanding the parent, paying a fine of 2,000 naira for second offender, or 1 month imprisonment. For subsequent offenses, the law recommends 5,000 naira fine or 2 months imprisonment. Looking at it, we can say that this law itself is inadequate because it is easier to pay 2,000 naira and allow a child to go and hawk and make more money than to send the child to school. So our lawmakers, we need to review this law. Is this punishment adequate? Punishment is supposed to serve as a deterrent to committing an offense. But when the punishment itself has no any legal effect or any punitive effect on the offenders, how would they obey the law? So there are so many things wrong with our legal system. There should be adequate and timely review of our laws so that punishment that are outdated can be updated. So instead of sending parents to prison, for example, do we consider community service? Instead of asking a parent to pay 2,000 naira for not allowing a child to go to school, can we look at a stiffer punishment? Maybe 200,000 naira. If I know that I cannot afford 200,000, it will be easier for me to allow my child to go to school than to send that child on an errand that will not be beneficial for the child at the end of the day. These are some of the things that we need to look at as a nation, as parents, as policymakers, as government agencies, given responsibility to carry out a duty. When we do our duty, then the society will be better off for it. So this is the little we'll be able to take this afternoon. So we look out for your comments, for your contribution. You can visit any of Legal Aerobics either on the Facebook, on the YouTube, or on the TikTok. Thank you very much.